Hi there. Today, today's kind of a gloomy day. It's supposed to rain a little bit later on. I don't really have a lot going on. I guess I could always find some yard work to do until it rains. But um, my wife and I were planning to, if they don't shut down any more parks or close down any more areas, we're planning maybe next week to do a simple overnighter back at that area land between the lakes that we were at last week. So I'm going to try dehydrating a couple meals for that trip, and then I've got a couple that I've got promised out for other people. So today, coming back to Chef Glenn's book again, I'm going to make an old favorite of ours. Everybody I've made this for in the past has really enjoyed it, and my friend Jake out in California, after I sent him back with a few, he even asked me to send him some more, so he wanted to share it with some people he knew. So it's a nice, comforting little dessert when you're out in the woods, and you wouldn't think. It's quite simple to make. It's for as simple as it is when you're just out and about, it's just kind of a comforting surprise for you. So we're going to make a dehydrated rice pudding. A few simple ingredients in the beginning. I'm using a short grain rice, and I'm not going to pronounce it right. Arborio. You pretty much treat it the same way you would if you're making risotto. And then instead of cooking it in water or anything like that, we're going to cook it in some almond milk. I went with a vanilla flavored almond milk just to help give it a little extra vanilla-y flavor. But we're gonna cook that first, and then we're gonna dehydrate. Oh, that thing finally turned off. So sorry, I got distracted by the lack of hum. So we're going to cook all this up, and then once we get to dehydrating, and it's going to dehydrate about 6, maybe 7 hours, and along the way, as it starts sticking and drying up to itself, we're going to just break up the little crumblies as best as we can. But that's about it for this little section. Give me a minute to get the camera resituated, and we'll get started. Okay, doesn't take much. I've got 2 cups of the almond milk. I'm likely going to make a double batch. I'm going to record this one and then probably make a second batch just because we really like this, and while I'm making it, why not? And then the arborio rice I'm going to add to it. And that's really it. We're just using the almond milk as the liquid to cook the rice in, and we're going to cook the rice until it's done. I've tried it with some other rices in the beginning, mostly by accident because it's just what I had. Some of the longer grain rice, especially basmati, which we buy a lot of, doesn't have as much starches, so it doesn't stick together in the end. So although it tastes really good, it's not pudding-like, if that makes sense. With the arborio rice, it's got a lot more starches, and it's going to be really kind of thick and creamy and sticky. So it'll appear more pudding-like than the long grain rices. So this is going to take probably about 20 minutes or so, and you really don't need to just sit here and watch me stir rice. So I'm going to turn the camera back off. I might turn it on a couple times in between just to show you how it's going. But for this stage, this is really all you have to do. Okay, it doesn't call for it anywhere in the recipe book, but I do like to add to mine just a little bit of ground nutmeg, and I'll just put just a little dusting across the top. Look at that, it's starting to get kind of creamy. It smells really good. Yeah, look at that, it's starting to thicken up really good now. Most of the liquid's getting absorbed. It's been, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, I guess. I guess I should have paid attention to the time when I got started. Don't want it to, stick though. Alright. That is getting just about done. Let me take a little sample here. Almost. There's still just a little bit of firmness in the middle of the rice, and I'm going to move this for a quick second and add just a little bit more liquid. Just a little splash. Just want the rice to get done just a little bit more before. Okay, so my rice is done. I let it sit for about 5 minutes just to thicken itself up a little bit and so forth. So I've got inside the dehydrator, I've got the little fruit roll-up tray and liquidy sort of tray. So I think this will all fit on one tray. I'm going to try to keep it thin, just to well, for one, it'll speed up the drying time and save me some crumbly breaking up later on. But see how thick and creamy that came out. This really is a kudos to Chef Glenn for coming up with this one, because it really is a nice little treat when you're out in the woods and stuff. Alright, I'm just going to try to spread this out a little bit. And I think that adding that little bit of nutmeg to it helps enhance it some too. Alright. Don't want to waste any of it. Alrighty, so that's really it. that's really it. We'll get it turned on and going, and 125 for about 5 hours, maybe 6. Okay, so it's been, I don't know, 3.5 hours, I think, and it's still it's still kind of tacky on this side. It is drying out really good on this side. What I'm going to do is just try to break these up into some smaller pieces. And it's going to take a little bit of time. The more it dries, the starches are going to kind of glue it together. So, but it's coming along kind of nicely. Alrighty, so it's really been overnight. But I turned the dehydrator off. I don't know, 7 o'clock last night maybe. And here's the rice pieces from yesterday, and I broke them up quite often while we were cooking them, dehydrating them. I mean, just keep kind of breaking off what little pieces I can. It'll make packaging a little bit easier, but they are quite hard, dried out. And that's really it for the backpacking rice pudding. I'm going to package these up. I'm going to divide it in fourths and then package these up. I'm going to throw in like a little snack pack of raisins to go with them. Just childhood memories, rice pudding and raisins. They're supposed to go together. You can put other types of fruits in there if you'd like. Some dried apples, some dried pears maybe. I would think apples would probably be better than pears, but you can. It's a good base to play with. So that's pretty much it. I might turn the camera back on one more time just for packaging. I still got to print some instructions for it to put inside there. And I think I've got all that stored on a separate computer, which I have to round back up. So that's pretty much it for the rice pudding part. Okay, so got everything packaged up. Cut it in fourths. And it worked out 1/2 cup of dried rice for each serving, and then I threw in a little a little 1 ounce pack of raisins to go with it. Probably a little more raisin than you want, but proportion wise, I don't really know. But that's pretty much it. It's going to take, I wrote it down, and I think it was 1/3 of a cup of water. To rehydrate everything. 3/4 of a cup of water, I'm sorry. To rehydrate everything. And I've learned not to try to vacuum seal these because the rice crumblies are about as sharp as the potato crumblies were from the vegetables video. It's for those of you who haven't seen that, the rice is pretty tough, dried out. So vacuum sealing it down, them hard edges poke holes in the plastic, and you go to all that trouble and then realize that a day later, what was once a nice sealed vacuum sucked in package is all bloated back out with air again. So I just put them in Ziploc baggies. It'll be easier this time around. They weigh, it turned out to be 1 ounce of rice and then 1 ounce of raisins too. So 2 ounces per meal, so that's not too bad. So again, I've got 2 that are promised out, and then I've got a couple for my wife and I for her dry run in the back camp, and then I'll make another batch for our outing, hopefully next weekend. And I want to thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.